great shot. The Maryland blue crab. You know, as a sportsman, I never thought that I would be doing a TV show about the Maryland blue crab. But you know, in the state of Maryland, it's one of the things that's sought after the most in the summertime. 4th of July feasts, cookouts, people can't wait to get a hold of the Maryland blue crab and have a sit-down feast. And as they eat the crabs, they tell stories and they talk about the previous seasons. The Chesapeake Bay is one of the most commercialized, biggest revenues that takes place on the water of the state of Maryland. There's over 51 million pounds of crabs harvested each year out of the Chesapeake Bay. It brings a dockside value of over $54 million. You know, as a guy that raised in Maryland, I never even thought about people not knowing about the Maryland blue crab, how to bait the line, how to catch it, how to prepare it, and then the best part of all is how to eat it. Well, guess what? Today, that's what we're fixing to do. For you folks out there that have never experienced the Maryland blue crab or to understand how to bait a line and how to catch it, that's what we're gonna do. We're fixing to go catch up with Marcus and Jared, Maryland residents, and one of their fun time things, their hobbies to do in the summer is to go catch the most sought after Maryland blue crab. You know, as a young guy at 7, 8, 9 years old, I spent my summer sitting on the piers of the eastern shore catching the Maryland blue crab. So today you're going to get to see how to bait your line, how to run a trout line, how to crab, how to prepare it, how to fix it, and then the best part of all is to how to eat it. You know, J.O. Spice Company is one of the most sought after seasonings when it comes to seasoning that Maryland blue crab. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we show you the Maryland blue crab. The Maryland blue crab, one of the most sought after things here in the state of Maryland in the summertime amongst sportsmen. With me today is guests Marcus and Jared, and these guys are guys that spend a lot of time on the water in the summer crabbing. In the fall, you spend your time deer hunting. In the late season, you spend your time duck and
Chasing
waterfowl.
Yes,
and
sir.
in the early season, spring gobbler and the trophy rockfish.
Yep.
But tomorrow, we're going to spend time on the water seeking after the Maryland blue crab. Marcus, tell us just a little bit about the Maryland blue crab and about the recreational stuff here in the state of Maryland.
Well, in the state of Maryland, a recreational crabber can have a 1,200-foot trout line. And I believe that 35% of recreational crabbers use trout lines in the state of Maryland.
35% of the recreational crabbers use a trout line.
Yep.
A trout line is something new to me. I never, even though I was brought up in Maryland, I didn't really know what a trout line was until I met you. I was the kind of guy that always did the hand traps, and I think Jared knows more about that probably than anybody. Jared, tell us a little bit about the hand traps.
Yeah, with the hand traps and stuff, I think about 14% of the recreational crabbing in Maryland is done. People are using hand traps instead of a trout line. Hand traps is a little simpler to use. It's just a basic trap. You got a chicken neck on it, and you have little buoys pulled up each one, and there's crab in it. It comes up, and then you're good to go.
Dump
So that's
you know,
right.
Although you were born and raised in Maryland, I was born and raised in Maryland, and I was shocked to know how many people didn't know about the Maryland blue crab, or how do you catch them, or how do you prepare them, or what they taste like. So what we're going to do is Marcus is going to show us how to bait a trout line. Jared is going to show us how to bait a trap. It's very simple. It's very easy. Anybody can do it. And then come bright and early tomorrow morning, we're going to be on the water catching the Maryland blue crab. And then come Friday night, we're going to be sitting at the table eating those same crabs that we've caught out of the Chesapeake Bay.
There you go. There we go.
There we go.
Good. Got him dropping. All right. Throw her back in.
This segment is brought to you by Cranford Manufacturing.
Brought to you by Scorpion Venom. Put a sting in your string.
So, Marcus, you're going to bait a 1,200-foot trout line.
That's right.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, the first thing I do is I'll wet the line down. I'll soak it really good. Reason being is it stretches when it's wet, so you don't want a dry line because it'll loosen once you put it in the water and it gets wet.
Okay.
Second thing I do is I'll take about 25 feet roughly from the front of my line, and before I put a single bait on.
Piece of single bait.
Right.
Well, now you're mentioning bait. What bait do you use?
We're gonna use chicken necks, but in the Chesapeake Bay region, they use all kinds of stuff. They can use razor clams, bull lips. Chicken necks is the most popular, and that's what we're gonna be using tomorrow.
So you put that whole chicken neck on there?
Nope. We're gonna cut them down. Most of them are gonna go in half, and some of the longer ones could go into 3 pieces.
3 pieces. Okay. Go at it, man.
All right. All I do, I got a hatchet, a board, and a couple chicken necks. One other thing is I take the fat off of my necks.
Crabs don't like that?
Just something my grandpa told me.
Hey,
I
Grandpa
don't
says
know
it.
why.
There's probably a lot of wisdom in it.
Right. Take my neck, one chop. I got my bait. I'll do that however many times. You know, we use about 200 baits on a 1,200-foot line.
200
Roughly.
pieces of bait on a 1,200-foot line.
Right.
Now, if you wanted to make a trout line that's smaller than that, I mean, that would be okay too, right? So if a guy wanted to make a 600-foot trout line or a 500-foot trout line, that's fine. But
Totally
the max
acceptable.
that you can make in the state of Maryland as recreation is 1,200
1,200
foot.
feet.
Okay.
Once they're cut up, I'll start putting them on the line, and I use a special knot. I call it a half hitch. And what I'll do is you take the line, you got it, both hands. You'll make a loop, and you come through the loop and pull the line out,
That's it.
and that's it. And that line will cinch on your bait. So the more the crabs eat your bait, the smaller this will get. And every time you run your line, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and it'll always keep your bait on.
Okay.
So I do my knot, I take a piece of bait, put it in there, cinch it tight. And that's all I do. Once I get to do that, I'll take 6 foot is what I do. You can do them smaller, you can do them longer. I like 6 foot because it can get kind of crazy if
A lot of crabs on there.
there's
That's a lot of
crabs,
dipping.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of dipping.
Yeah. Okay, while Marcus continues to bait that trout line, what we're going to do is go over and see Jared. He's going to show us how to bait a trap. Marcus just got done showing us how to bait a trout line, and now you are going to show us about a trap.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about the trap and
Well, what trap is pretty basic and stuff. When you set it down, when it hits the bottom of the bay and stuff, it's gonna pull it out like this. Like this. The crab crawls into it on your chicken neck. Pull it up, drawers close up, and as long as you keep pressure on it, he's gonna stay in there.
he's going to stay in.
And
So why would a guy use this versus a trout line?
well, with this, if you have a smaller boat, it's a little bit easier to use the crabs opposed to trout line. Less involved. It's a little bit cheaper, a little more cost effective for somebody who's just doing it once in a while.
Okay, yeah, once in a while. So, so a weekend crabber, this may be a better way to go.
Be a little better way to go. It's a little faster, a little less work and stuff than baiting a trout line up. And it's just a little easier to do altogether. So.
Is there a limit of how many you can have in the state of
For
Maryland?
recreational crabber, you can do 30.
Up
You
to
can
30
use
traps.
and stuff.
Lindsay running the camera for us today, and she's one of my #1 crabbing partners, along with my other daughter Ashley and my wife. And I think the traps are maybe more of a family type of thing.
So.
And when you run the trout line, as you're going to see tomorrow, it's more productive.
Yeah.
You can catch more crabs, or at least you hope to catch more crabs faster. But I think for a family, this may be a little bit better way to go. Well, show us how you bait this thing up real quick, and then we're going to get ready to pack everything else up.
It's pretty basically what you do and stuff. You have you have this little spring on there. You take your chicken neck, put it in that spring right there, and push it down, and it'll stay right in there for you. That's one way to do it. Another option is you can use a zip tie. It's a little more secure and stuff. And if your trap doesn't have the spring on it, you can use a zip tie and it'll work just as well.
So all you're going to do is set that chicken neck in there and put a zip tie around it, and you're done.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, we've seen how the traps are done and how the trout line is, and we'll experience it tomorrow morning on the water. So go get your popcorn, get your soda, come back, and we'll check out the Maryland blue crabs.
Brought to you by Downwind Scents, rising above all others. Scorpion Venom, lubricants and coatings, bowstring wax, anti-venom bowstring cleaner, biscuit spray, cam and serving lube, target air release fluid, bowstring fluid and wax, crossbow rail lube. These innovative products are easy to use and apply. Protects your string and cables by reducing friction between the string strands and does not become brittle in cold weather. Also waterproof and odor-free. Visit ScorpionVenomArchery.com.
You wait for that one shot all year long. Don't let this be you. Introducing the revolutionary Square Up. Better accuracy from the moment you put it on your bow. Just put your pin on the target and make sure it's in the Square Up sight window. You'll stop bad shots before they happen. Shoot your tightest groups ever and have more confidence from long range.
2 arrows, and you're gonna see it really works.
Visit SquareUpArchery.com.
Brought to you by Square Up, coach on your bow.
Morning, everybody. We're setting our line. I'm going to start setting the anchor, and then we're going to feed this line out, and you're going to see how I do it right now. Right here we're at 6 foot, and we're going to run out to about 10. Just got to make sure when you coil it in there that your loops sit on top of each other. Something else is you got to, every once in a while, just stop and pull on your line, and you'll tighten it up a little bit just to make sure it lays straight. Okay, take it in gear. Right to the right of that pole. And then once you set your last anchor, a key part of this is how tight it is, as you can make it too tight and you can make it too loose. There's a good medium. I've been tightening my line along the way, so I don't need to tighten it too much, so I'm just going to take a little strain and let it go. And we're crabbing.
What we're gonna do is now we got our trout line set, we're gonna go back to where my brother and his daughter are, Madison, and we're gonna show you how to set the traps, and then we're gonna start crabbing. It's a beautiful day, 85 degrees, sun's coming up, and the good Lord painted another sunrise for us to see this morning. So here we go, on the water in the Chesapeake Bay.
All right, we're gonna start dropping traps here. The main thing you wanna make sure is that all your line comes off your buoy, or she won't get all the way to the bottom. You wanna go and kick her in gear. As far as spacing goes, it's really up to you. I mean, it depends how many traps you're running, but usually probably 10, 15 yards is usually good. And that's it. We're good to go. There you go. There we go. Go and drop him. All right, throw her back in.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run back and do the trout line. So Troy and Madison will just keep going on around and pulling them and catching crabs. We're gonna go run the trout line. The cool thing about this is, as you can see, young kids and families can really do the traps and make it great. So it's a great way to spend time on the water with your kids and teach them about the outdoors.
Word of the week brought to you by Walt Eagers Service Center. Car repairs you can trust.
Downwind Scents, the leader in big game attractants, has again revolutionized the scent industry with 2 groundbreaking products. The new Buck Foam comes in many different attractants, covers a huge surface area, and our time-release technology lasts over 8 hours, keeping that trophy close to your stand and giving you the opportunity for success. Also, check out our new Buck Kano. It is dispersed like a fogger for great downwind dispersion, bringing them in nose first to your stand. Downwind Scents. Call today for a dealer near you.
Brought to you by Walt Eagers Service Center. Car repairs you can trust.
Chain's gonna come over and our first bait's gonna be about 25 feet down the line.
Just feed that line up over there like that, and you just get ready. And what'll happen is the baits will come up over like that, and you just dip right in the pot. Right there.
Double, triple, you got 3, you got 4, almost.
Damn, I can't keep up. There it is, trying to drop off the work. Oh, get in there. Oh, another big one. I didn't realize I was catching so many crabs I was gonna have to stretch out before I dipped net. Hey, we're catching so many crabs I should have stretched out. I'm pulling hamstrings trying to dip crabs. Ow, I pulled another one. I forgot to loose. Whoa, get over here, yeah! I forgot to loosen up before I smashed. Whoa, get in here! Oh, oh! Oh my goodness.
my goodness. The
Crabs in the boat.
needs a little bit more
I
time.
missed the big ones. Ow! Okay, we got crabs loose in the
And that's a
boat.
run.
All right, let's go back and get Madison and Troy. Pull the traps one more time, and on to the feast table. Hard and fast.
There you go. Oh, it got out the side.
Oh, it comes out.
A little bit on the smaller side. There you go. Pull them up.
Hey, all right.
No, dump them in there.
Madison,
All right, toss it back over.
you get 3 in a row? Which make sure you don't want to do. Whoa! You don't want to get pinched by them things right there, because that hurts. That's an awesome Maryland blue crab right there. Maryland blue crab. He wants you to come to the Chesapeake Bay. Okay, here we go. That's a couple hours on the water. We got about 1.5 bushels this morning. So thanks Marcus, thanks Jared, thanks Troy Madison, Lindsay, thanks for running the camera. They're crawling out. Guess where they're gonna crawl to? Right into the steam pot. So your next thing you're gonna see is season them, steaming them, and then to the feast table. We'll see you right there. Well, as you can see, we did really well in the water today, and so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook them. In the state of Maryland, everybody kind of has their own way of cooking crabs, but the way we do it here at The Real Deal in Hardwood Outdoors is we take white vinegar and we put about 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch in the bottom. Put that vinegar right there, and then we add in 2 cups of water. What that does is that just allows, when we start to cook these, that allows the steam to come up and through and cook. So we're going to put about 1.5 cups of vinegar, a full cup of vinegar, and about 1.5 cups of water. Then we're going to lay our rack down in, and then we start placing the crabs in. When you place the crabs in, the best thing to do is just layer them, and then Troy puts probably the most important part of the whole thing is that's the seasoning. And so he layers them down with the seasoning. So we're just going to start placing them in there. Load them up, brother. Yeah, that looks good right there. You put one row, lay one row in, layer one, and season them, and then you're going to stack another layer in. Ouch! Don't let them bite your toes when you're taking them off.
That wouldn't be a good thing.
No. We chilled them down when we got home, and I got gloves on just in case they're chilled, but you never know when one's going to come alive and get you. Cool, that's good. Look at that big crab right there. Crab.
Yeah, the ideal thing with this seasoning is you can't never put not enough seasoning on the crabs. I guess the more seasoning you put on, the better they'll taste. We're using this J.O. spice here today. They do have a number 1 and a number 2 spice. The number 1 spice has a little bit more rock salt in it. So it's kind of like your preference. Either way you want to go with the seasoning, but you can't never put enough seasoning on. It really makes the crabs taste very well.
We're going to fill up the pot. We're going to steam them for 33 minutes, and we'll see you at the dinner table. J.O.
Delicious.
Yummy.
What it's about.
It's 4 a.m. and I can hardly sleep. That big gobbler keeps strutting in my dreams. I saw him go to roost in the tree last night. I praise waiting for the hardwood tea. My truck's loaded